8 top 10 finishes this year, but has yet to win alongside the veteran David Green. And, you know, Larry, you talked about it on our great motorcycle ride. Great racers here, but there's also some inexperience in this field.
Yeah, I mean, there were several teams that did come up here and test, but the biggest thing is, I mentioned this earlier, 19 of our 43 starters have never run a race at this racetrack. Some of them had never even seen this racetrack until they got here yesterday.
Randy Joy won this race in 1997. Take a look at the rest of the grid.
Once again, you heard Dick Berger talk about how this field was set because of qualifying being rained out. The top 35, this was the top 35 in owner points. And we keep saying owner points, especially in the case of the 21 car that runs all the races with Johnny Sauter, Kevin Harvick, and then the one car that's going to start fourth that shares the driving duties between David String and Jamie McMurray. And then position 36 through 40 was based on qualifying attempts, not how many races they've made, but how many times they had attempted. And the final 3 starters had to go to how you drew to go out to qualify. That's how the field was set. Trust me, they will be fighting to get to the bottom of this racetrack when they get to turn 1 and 2. That's where the groove is Johnny Sauter in that 21 car. He brings them down. Green flag. Let's go racing.
Sauter gets the jump and leads them down into turn 1, followed by Scott Riggs and David Green.
And that was a smart move on David Green in the 37 car. He knew he needed to get to the bottom. Don't let Scott Riggs have the position and then fall back in behind him. Scott Riggs in that 10 car, I mean, just really going through the middle of the corner. You heard Johnny Sauter say in the pre-race, multiple changes on that race car. They were not very happy with that car in happy hour.
Sauter leads Riggs again down into turn 2. Followed by Green, the 2 car of Ron Hornaday. The 1 of rookie David Stremme. The 92 of Todd Bodine rides 6th. Riggs continues to look on the inside.
Look at Ron Hornaday in that 2 car, though. He's trying to work the outside to go around David Green in the 37 car, trying to get that second groove to come in.
Hornaday has 3 straight top 10 finishes here at the Milwaukee Mile. There he is in the 2 car.
Won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race here in 1997. 4th in the points. Pretty happy with his car after happy hour last night.
And there's Riggs again, looking to the inside, Larry Mack. He goes by Sauter.
And Ron Hornaday's going to take advantage of it as well against his teammate, Johnny Sauter. But Johnny Sauter in that second group, it looks like it's working pretty good from the middle off of turn 1 and 2.
Riggs, Sauter, Hornaday, David Green knows the tail. There's 19-year-old Brian Vickers underneath Todd Bodine in the 92 car.
Battle for 8.
We've completed 6 laps. Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46. Stacy Compton in the 59.
You hear how, even this early in the race, you can hear the audio there, how you have to drive the car as much with the throttle pedal as you do the steering wheel. You can't just nail the throttle down, because if you do, the car will start to either slide the nose or slide the rear wheels.
Back up front, Scott Riggs continues to hold off Ron Hornaday. Hornaday looks to the outside.
Now look at these 2 guys right here. Riggs 2nd points, Ron Hornaday 4th in points. Both these teams, no DNF this year. Been running at the end of every one of the 15 races so far.
Dick Berger has more on Ron Hornaday.
Well, a lot of people expected Hornaday to run really well here today, Steve. He won a few weeks ago in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, a racetrack that bears a very close resemblance to this one in that it is very, very flat and there's a lot of turning involved. Hornaday came up with a car that ordinarily is not run by his children's own team, called the Top Stout, and it really worked for him incredibly well. He dominated that event. The car, however, was wrecked at Nazareth 2 races ago, so this is a brand new race car. They brought it to Greenville Pickens Speedway, tested it, and this is the first time it's actually seen competition.
Jason Keller in the 57. He's behind the 66 of Chad Blount. Not a battle for position. Keller rides 4th. Vickers in 5th. Chad Blount brought up our first caution.
tell you another guy, we talked about Damon Lusk in the 6 car coming up through the field. How about Casey Atwood in this Navy car, the 14 car, teammate to Kerry Earnhardt. He started back in 39th, and he's all the way up to 19th. Remember, this is his second Busch Series start. He's going to run about 12 total this year. I mentioned a while ago, won the race in the pole here in 1999. And something a lot of people don't know, he's still under contract with Ray Abraham, so you probably may see Casey in some Winston Cup races later on this year.
Brian Vickers is marching to the top. There he is in the 5 car, past David Green for 6th, and on lap 40. Vickers goes by the veteran Jason Keller. On lap 60, Vickers gets by Johnny Sauter, picks off another position. Lap 64, Vickers goes by Scott Riggs for 2nd. And just seconds ago, Ron Hornaday slides up to turn 4, and Brian Vickers makes the pass for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, he has drove away now by almost a second over Ron Hornaday, but what I was watching several laps leading up to that is Brian Vickers was able to drive his car so much deeper into the corner that the car would stick, and I think Ron Hornaday tried at that time, got a little bit out of the groove, and his car just washed up.
You see Vickers started 8th. He's now your leader. He's led 3 laps.
We're about 10 to 12 laps away from pit stops, and Wisconsin native Scott Wimmer, don't think it's going to happen for him today. He was one of the ones that pitted on lap 20, and he just was back on pit road for 4 more tires, so the handling just not very good on that car. So right now we have 22 cars on the lead lap, starting to see some of these green flags stop. Kerry Earnhardt in the 12 car. All these stops should be 4-tire stops and full of fuel. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game on this pitting under green. You know, you can only go as far as your fuel will let you, but if some of those leaders start coming to pit road, you can't be far behind them, because trust me, those 4 tires, they're going to fix a lot of problems for some of these race cars.
And we just saw Vickers go by the 30 car of Jimmy Vasser. And I know you talked to Vasser earlier. He's got a lot of experience on this racetrack, but not in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, just a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, he ran 11th here in the kart race. Of course, he runs all of the kart races, plus he run the Indy 500. And I said, Jimmy, is there anything that you can relate to your kart experience here to your Busch experience? He said, Larry, absolutely nothing. He said, I do know where a few of the bumps are, and that's about it.
So, not much.
Not much at all.
Regan Smith, Larry Mack referred to just a minute ago, on pit road, has a flat tire.
And this is a good move, though. It's time to pit. He just went a lap down. What he hoped to do, get into the pits early, get those 4 fresh tires, and maybe as it cycles through the green flag stops, those 4 fresh tires will put him back out in front of the leader and maybe catch a caution back on the lead lap. Jimmy Vasser did the same thing in the 30 car, just went a lap down. He comes to pit road for his 4 fresh tires. And Jimmy actually won a kart race here in 1998. And this is the problem right now that Brian Vickers is going to run into. These cars like Casey Atwood in the 14 car, as well as Tim Sauter in the 56, they're trying to survive. They're trying to stay on the lead lap. They're not going to give him much of a break.
There's Shane Meal in the 48 car. 11th in points, entering the race here in Milwaukee. You can see that car is unadorned by a sponsor. They need some sponsorship help. Vickers pulls underneath Casey Atwood in the 14 car.
Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 car, who's actually one of the cars that pitted on lap 20. He comes to pit road for his routine stop, 4 tires and full of fuel. Here comes Johnny Sauter in the 21, Jason Keller in the 57, and Randy LaJoy in the 7. So now we're starting to see a lot of those cars in the top 5 or 10 come to pit road. Again, this is a routine scheduled pit stop. Shouldn't be long before Brian Vickers is in, but you will go a lap down here making a pit stop because it's 35 miles per hour just on the pit road speed.
On board with Sauter, they make a pit stop on lap 83, under green flag. There you see Keller in the 57. As Larry Mack indicated, 4-tire stop, 4 tire changes. Let's go to Jeff Hannon.
Right now, Scott Riggs brought his number 10 car in. They're going to put 4 tires on it. I see the overflow man making a track bar adjustment. Look like he's down a couple rounds right there. Just back up the left side's done. He is going to be down and away.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Bobby Hamilton Jr. also on pit road. He enters his pit box, and Dick Berggren is there.
Well, Bobby Hamilton going to work on that car a little bit. Not to his liking today. Certainly not nearly as fast. And one, it goes the wrench in the left rear corner. 1 round, 2 rounds out of that car. Meanwhile, Vickers is going to be coming down pit road. Hornaday already on pit road for his scheduled service. Hamilton, 4 tires and fuel, out of here.
J.C. Atwood in the 14 car just went a lap down. He's on pit road along with Mike Littis in the 20, David Lusk in the 6 car, and Casey Kane. Here comes our leader, Brian Vickers, in the 5 car. This will be a routine stop for 4 tires and fuel and adjustments. Probably very few adjustments,
I would hope so. Ron Hornaday Jr. just got his service, 4 tires, back to Dick Berggren.
The answer is no adjustments to Brian Vickers' car, not one. These guys have absolutely hit the setup today. As I'm listening on the radio to other people complain about their cars being tight, being loose, Vickers' car is just right. Craig Smokestack, the Jazz Man. Mark Aschenbrenner is the front tire changer. Ryan Young, the rear tire changer. They are about done. Gone.
Stacy Compton in the 59, Joey Clanton in the 27, David Ruderman in the 87. They come to pit road, and David Green in the 37 car, he stayed out, led a lap, got those 5 bonus points. Now he's on pit road.
David Green cruises down pit road. He cruised into Milwaukee as the points leader.
And that will hand the lead for at least a lap to David Strimmy in the 1 car. Here comes Kevin Grubb in the 26 car. Really had to lock it up before he got to that 35-mile-an-hour clocking line on pit road.
There you see a chassis adjustment on the 37 of David Green. He's in pit box number 1, all the way or closest to turn 1.
He's actually in 2. Johnny Salter's in that very end. Remember, you choose your pits by how you start the race, how you qualify.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Green has left here, one of the last to pit, and that is a decided advantage. That suggests that he is either getting better mileage than some of the other people, or these guys are sticking their necks out a little bit further. It was a good enough pit stop that the crew, once it was done and over with, high-fived each other. They're still shaking hands with each other. They like their own performance.
But you see right here, our leader, Tim Salter, in the 56 car. Now, the reason he's inherited the lead, he's one of the cars that pitted back on lap 20, which means on fuel, he can go about 15 or 20 laps further than our other cars. But the problem is, his pace right now is going to be so slow when he finally comes to pit road. He's going to be way behind, but guess what he needs right now? He needs a caution flag.
And I haven't mentioned there are 3 Sauters in this race. Jay, Jim, and Johnny. Last year, their father Jim was in this race as well.
All 4 of them.
On board with Jason Keller and Randy LaJoy. He's pulling up behind Scott Riggs. Dick has more on LaJoy.
LaJoy has got a very, very good race car today. I talked to his crew chief, Wally Rogers, this morning, and with a week he said that this is about as good a car as they have had all year long. On the last pit stop, they gave him a bit of forward flight with the adjustments that they made, and that was all LaJoy has needed to rock it forward. It has been a long, long time since Randy LaJoy has won one of these races. The last time, Memphis, 53 starts ago, but he's got a car good enough today to contend to win.
I know what's got him pumped up and going. I just figured it out.
You did?
It's his son, Corey, who runs the Bandolero series at Lowe's Motor Speedway. My son, Brandon Corey, won there week before last, and I think he's saying, Dad, this winning's a pretty easy deal. What's wrong?
Come on, Dad, get with it. Randy LaJoy, a 2-time NASCAR Busch Series champion.
Won here in 1997. In fact, he's one of only 3 past winners we have in the field today. Randy LaJoy, Casey Atwood, and Mike Wallace, the only guys in the field that has won this race. And something I don't think we've mentioned is in the 12 races here, we have only 1 2-time winner, and that's Greg Biffle, who's not in the field. So a lot of guys trying to win that first race at Milwaukee. A lot of guys like Randy LaJoy trying to win their second race here.
And LaJoy trying to win for the 16th time in his NASCAR Busch Series career.
Randy's been running 235 consecutive Busch Series starts. It started all the way back at Daytona in February of '96. That's a lot of races in a row.
Starting his 307th race here this afternoon. 73 car, Jason Schuler, you saw trying to get underneath LaJoy, but that is not a battle for position.
And the reason that Jason Schuler is able to do that, it was just a few laps ago that he was on pit road to get 4 fresh tires. He's in 28th position, 3 laps down, but those 4 fresh tires make him look like he's a lot better than Randy LaJoy, and right now, with those tires, he is.
Back in Milwaukee, pace car is off. We're set to go back to green flag racing. with Scott Riggs in the lead, followed by Ron Hornaday, Randy LaJoy, Jason Keller, and Brian Vickers.
And a host of cars trying to get their lap back. We have 9 laps to go, and of our 15 cars on the lead lap, Ashton Lewis is the only one that elected to come to pit road to top off. We got a battle for the lead right here. Ron Hornaday in the 2 car, Scott Riggs in the 10. He knows the quickest he can get out front, the better off he'll be. Get out there in that clean air.
And Larry, we should mention Shane Meal in that white car, the 48. He's a lap down.
But now he's on the tail end of the lead lap, trying to get that lap back. He needs a caution.
Drag race between Riggs and Hornaday into turn 1. Hornaday to the bottom.
Brian Vickers, who really lost out on that pit stop, he's back in 5th position right now.
But he's got a fast race car, plenty of time to get back to the front. We're working lap 162 of 250.
The real strategy now, of course, we may have more cautions that wipes this out. These guys are the pit road, and there you see Ron Hornaday. He's trapped behind Shane Mill in the 48, but Shane's doing what he's supposed to do, trying to stay on the lead lap. These guys pitted with 96 laps to go. Didn't find a lot of guys that could go that far on the fuel.
So a lot of strategy yet to play out here at the Milwaukee Mile. Of course, as Larry said, that could all go away if we get some more cautions. Right now, we've got a great battle between Hornaday in the 2, Riggs in the 10, Shane Meal in that 48 on the tail end of the lead lap gets sideways.
Yes, see, right in front of the leaders, and while they're doing all this, Randy LaJoy in that 7 car, the Kleenex car, he's moving in this battle.
Riggs tries to clear the 48 of Meal.
Mill in that 48, he's not going to give up easy, and he shouldn't give up because we only have 15 cars on the lead lap. There you see Jimmy Vassar in the 30 car, but he gets back going. No caution. We stay green. The boy Riggs gets sideways at the start-finish line, and Shane Mill gets into the back of him. He gets back on the tail of the lead lap, but Ron Hornaday, why they spin? Caution is out. Caution is out.
Lap 164.
Look at the damage there to the front, right front of Ron Hornaday. That's not going to be good for this place. With all that said, nobody's going to get back on the lead lap.
Scott Riggs back to the start-finish line with the lead. Let's take a look at what happened.
This is going through 1 and 2. There you see Shane Mill goes up the racetrack and just comes back down on Ron Hornaday. It's one thing to try to stay on the lead lap. It's another thing to get into the leaders like that.
And as you said, Shane Meal was trying desperately to stay on the lead lap. Hornaday, meanwhile, battling Riggs for the lead.
The biggest problem is going to be with Ron Hornaday, all that damage to that right front. He's going to have to come to pit road and work on that, which he's going to have to come to pit road and get 4 tires as well.
There you see Hornaday in the 2 car. And understand that Shane Meal will be held on pit road for rough driving.
And you know what? As much as I hate to say it, it should be. Like I say, it's one thing to try to stay on the lead lap. It's another thing to wreck the leaders.
As we mentioned earlier, Meal will make his Winston Cup debut in Daytona next weekend. Back at Milwaukee under caution for the 3rd time today, Scott Riggs and Jason Keller, teammates up at the point. Lights are off atop the pace car. You see the drivers out of the race.
And Steve, we talk about giving up track position. Evidently, Randy LaJoy, Wally Rogers, his crew chief decided they could not make it from that last caution. So he came to pit road and gave up 2nd position to get fuel. Now we know he can go the distance then, but he's stuck back in traffic at 14.
And Shane Meal was held on pit road. He has served his penalty, lost a lap, back out of the racetrack.
Boy, something happened to Johnny Sauter, the 21 car on that restart through 1 and 2. I think he got up out of the groove. He went all the way from 5th to about 10th. And losing more positions as we come through 3 and 4. Like I say, this is such a hit your mark, hit your line sensitive racetrack, and when you're on restart side by side, it's hard to do. Looks like everything's going good for him now.
Caution just came out for the third time for a spin between Shane Meal and Ron Hornaday in the 2-car. Dick Berggren has more on Hornaday.
Hornaday pitted at his right front tire changer. Joe Zielinski pulled Hornaday's front fender out away from the tire. NASCAR looked at the tire. Here's the tire that came off the right front. As you can see, it is cut. NASCAR decided that they were going to let Hornaday have another set of rights for this race. The tire was sufficiently damaged. He ought to get some new tires for it. He's back out on the speedway. Yeah.
Guys, right now, I think you're getting a chance to take a look at the 10 cars. Scott Kircher, Scott's dad, Henry Kircher, has had cancer, and he's got a sign on the side of his helmet today, hoping to bring the 10 car home for a victory, and wishing his dad well. Henry, get well soon, buddy.
Exactly. Regardless of what happens to the 10 car today, hurry up and get well, Henry. That's for sure. And back to Ron Hornaday, you know, the problem is he's almost 6 seconds behind leader Scott Riggs, and it's so hard to pass here. There's about 18 to 20 cars between him and leader Scott Riggs.
Okay, so I'll ask the question. We have, well, probably 79 laps, or not 79. Yeah. Does he have enough time?
The further he goes, the harder it's going to get the pass. And meanwhile, Scott Riggs out there in that 10 car, and his teammate Jason Keller in the 57, who's second, they're in clean air right now, and they're out there not having to deal with any traffic. But again, Randy LaJoie in the 7 car, they obviously didn't have a choice. They knew they could not make it on fuel. And there you see Ron Hornaday in the 2, Randy LaJoie in the 7, and they're back in 14th and 15th position. But they're just now coming off turn 4. Scott Riggs, our leader's in the middle of 1 and 2.
Scott Riggs has 2 wins this year. His teammate Jason Keller has not been to victory lane. Keller won 4 times a year ago. Look at that battle. 38 of Casey Kane. Oh, Harvick underneath Compton to the top side. It's a battle for 8.
And Casey Kane in the 38, he's still a lap down, made one of his laps up. Good solid run for Johnny Sauter in that 21 car, and he'll be in the car at Daytona next week, and he's the defending champion of the Chicago race, so he'll be there. Then Harvick will be in it for a few weeks.
Brian Vickers listed in the 3rd position, right behind Casey Atwood, who's 2 laps down, listed in 21st. Let's check back in with Dick Berggren.
And I'm with Lance McGrew. Now, Lance, we heard you guys on the radio say that you're going to try to go all the way, but you've had more time to calculate fuel mileage. Can you make it, or do you need another stop?
We're real close on fuel. This GMC team's done so good today. The car's been so good. It tightened up on us a little bit that last run. The fuel mileage went down. We freed the car back up. We're kind of counting on the mileage going back up some. We should be fine. It's going to be close.
Going to be close. How close will it be?
We're about a lap and a half right now. All he has to do is conserve a lap and a half of fuel in the next 7-3. I think he can do that.
You got some fingernails to bite?
Excuse me?
You got some fingernails to bite?
I keep them pretty closely trimmed.
Good luck.
And of course, their saving grace may be, again, we talked about it, they pitted with 96 to go. We've run about 10 caution laps. And remember, caution laps is about a 2-to-1 ratio using fuel. The green laps also, well into a run, the pace slows down. You don't use as much fuel.
Vickers has led twice for 73 laps. Right now, it's Scott Riggs in the 10 car at the point. Scott Riggs, still your leader here at the Milwaukee Mile. His teammate Jason Keller is second. 19-year-old Brian Vickers is third. Mike Bliss, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, there he is in the 20 car, is fourth, the 2002 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. 23 laps, 23 miles to go. Keller in that 57, trying to win for the first time this year, for the 10th time in his career. Riggs has 2 wins this season, trying to win a third.
Well, what I like about this, so much has been documented about Milwaukee. You only have 1 group of races. For the last 10 laps, J.C. Keller's been right on the bottom right there, and Scott Riggs has been about 2.5 groups up on the high side.
And it's a drag race in 2 different groups.
But with the same engine builder, Robert Yates.
That's it.
Scott beats Jason a little bit getting here into turn 3, but Jason Keller's able to pick the throttle up. It's like Scott's driving too deep in the corner, and Jason Keller's going to propel off the corner, but they're back to a drag race. down the front stretch. I don't know who led that lap. They were side by side. But now the next problem is going to be there's about 5 or 6 cars in front of them here that they're probably going to catch in these next 15 or 20 laps that could play a role in it as well. But Brian Vickers in the 5 car, he is coming.
Jason Keller leads him down the backstretch, headed for turn 3, followed by Riggs, Vickers, Bliss, and Rudiman.
For Brian Vickers in that 5 car, he got quite a run through the middle of turn 3 and 4. He pulls right up to the back of Scott Riggs in the 10 car. That'd be the battle for second. Brian Vickers right to the bottom. You know he's got a good race car there, side by side off turn 2. Jason Keller, he needs this to last for several laps where he can pull out for a little bit.
Vickers making the pass on Riggs going into 3. Can he make it stick? You see Keller to the left of your screen. He's the leader, 33 years old from South Carolina.
And Vickers' car did stick. Looked like Riggs was going to make a run back on the high side, but that's where Brian Vickers' car has been so strong around the bottom, able to pick the throttle up and stay on the bottom. Washes up a little bit 1 and 2. Now he sets his sight on Jason Keller. His next time by, we'll have 12 laps to go.
It's Keller, followed by Vickers, Briggs, Bliss, Rudiman, Compton, Hamilton Jr., and LaJoie as the laps wind down here in Milwaukee.
And that time, Brian Vickers didn't get through the middle of turn 3 and 4 just as good. It's like he overdrove the entrance. Right now, what they need to tell him is still be patient. Be what got you to the front and got you up there in second place. Keller is so strong, it looks like right now, off the corner. When he picks the throttle up, he's able to stay in that throttle.
Keller, 33 years old from Greenville, South Carolina. 19-year-old Brian Vickers. You see the interval there between first and second. Scott Riggs in third.
While we're watching this up front, a real battle is back there for about 9th position. Ron Hornaday in the 2 car, remember, he has 4 fresh tires as he pulls and drives right by Randy LaJoie. David Green in the 37 car, he has those 4 fresh tires, but I think these guys will run out of laps even though they have those 4 fresh tires.
And that's a battle for 9th.
Now, right up in front of these guys, David Strimmy in the 1 car, remember, he has 4 fresh tires as well, and he pulls up alongside Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car. That's a battle for 7th, so those 4 tires paying off for David Strimmy as well. But there you see right now, the interval of the last lap, the fastest speed, Jason Keller in that 57 car. 10 laps to go.
Jason Keller on the point, trying to win the 10th time in his Busch Series career, making his crosses the start-finish line, followed by Vickers. 117.5 miles per hour. Ron Hornaday is the quickest.
With those 4 fresh tires, and it's like right now, Brian Vickers made his run, but it's leveled off. In fact, Jason Keller's pulling away just a little bit. When they come back, she'll be 8 to go. But Ron Hornaday, I mean, he is on the move. He just drove by Stacy Compton like he was tied. Once again, these are the product of 4 fresh tires. It's going to get him a good finishing position. It won't win the race, though. But you know what? Considering where he was back about a few laps ago, this will be a good run for Ron, good rebound for that team.
Hornaday led twice for 51 laps until he got tangled up with a lap car of Shane Neal on lap 164. Neal was penalized for rough driving. But Hornaday fights back.
Now the car that's starting to fade is Jason Keller's teammate Scott Riggs in the 10. In fact, he has his hands full of Mike Bliss in the 20 car. That's a battle for 3rd. Something just happened to Mike Bliss. Something just happened to the 20 car coming down the front stretch.
Bliss slows down between turns 1 and 2. There you see Hornaday go by.
David Strimmy in that 1 car, that moves him up into the 5th position. Yes, like Mike Bliss has went down a cylinder. Remember, he's had 2 DNFs in a row. So he's going to try to nurse this thing home 6 more laps. 6 to go as Jason Keller comes to the strike.
Keller got off to a slow start this season, but comes to Milwaukee 5th in points. 7 15 points behind Hornaday when this race started.
I'm going to tell you what, this battle for fourth right here, David Rudiman in the 87, David Stremme in the outside in the 1 car, Ron Hornaday in the 2, and now they pull up right to the back of Scott Riggs in the 10. So that's actually a battle for the 3rd spot. I just feel like that move was a good move for David Stremme and Ron Hornaday. They were far enough back in the pack, nothing to lose putting those 4 fresh tires on. Stremme's going to go all the way from 5th to 3rd, about a half a lap. That's probably as far as he's going to get it to go, though.
Jason Keller has a healthy lead while we watch this battle. Hornaday underneath Scott Riggs in the 10, but Rudiman's below him.
They're 3 wide off turn 4. You can run 2 wide, but 3 wide don't work.
Hornaday has battled back all the way into the 4th position.
David Green, our points leader in the 37 car, he just moved by Stacy Compton. He has those 4 tires we keep talking about that moved him up in the 7th position. Just right behind this group, as we see Jason Keller comes across the stripe. There'll be 3 laps to go. Todd Bodine in the 92 car. The reason these guys are in the position they are in points, they continue to turn bad days into good days. They came to pit road, they got their 4 tires, and he's up in the 9th position as he just went by Bobby Hamilton Jr. It looks like the day for Mike Bliss may be done. He's going to have 3 DNFs in a row as he's barely moving at the end of the backstretch. But I tell you who's moving as he comes 2 laps. Going back to caution is out. Caution is out, but we get the 2 laps to go. That probably was the race right there. The red flag number for the day was 5 laps, so we will not get this race restarted. Anything 245 laps or less, we would get a red flag. So that may have been the race right there for Jason Keller. Brian Vickers came across in 2nd. David Stremme in the 1 car came across in 3rd. Ron Hornaday in 4th. And David Rudiman came across in 5th.
Well, it's been 38 races between wins for Jason Keller.
He'll get the white flag this time, Steve.
So all he'll have to do is cruise around for his 10th career NASCAR Busch Series victory. It'll be his first win of this season, his first win at Milwaukee, his 4th top 5 in the last 4 races here at the Milwaukee Mile. See Ron Hornaday congratulate Jason Keller.
Yeah, look, just looking at our top 5, you know, we talked about the strategy of those guys, and I know I've talked about it about every lap, but really paid off for that 3rd and 4th place car. David Stremme in the 1, Ron Hornaday in the 2. Came to pit road, got their 4 tires, and it has paid off.
And look, Jason's kept his Harley-Davidson sticker. I was sure that was going to be out the window.
The speed has slowed down, so now the sticker's back in place.
I think he'll make it around to the checkered flag. So big day for Jason Keller and the PPC Racing team. Keller was winless in the 2003 season after winning 4 times a year ago.
He'll become the 11th different winner in 17 races. This right here, when he sees the checkered flag, that officially marks the halfway point of the 2003 Busch Series season.
So it's Keller, Vickers, Ron Hornaday, David Stremme, David Rudiman in the top 5 as Keller's team celebrates a much-needed victory.
Yeah, all of our top points guys came home with a good finish. David Green finishes 6th. Scott Riggs finishes 7th. Todd Bodine, in fact, the top 3 in points, finished 6th, 7th, and 8th.
From our race here at the Milwaukee Mile, the GNC 250.
Talked about Greg Pollock's, his car as a car owner has won 3 out of the last 7 races. And how about Robert Yates' Busch engines? They've won the last 3 races in the Busch Series.
13 drivers finish on the lead lap as we are officially at the halfway point of the 2003 season, which means we have to say goodbye.
But we're not going to go away. We will be at Daytona next Thursday on Speed Channel covering the qualifying session for these Busch Series. And then we'll be at Chicago the next week